Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoiler cast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, it is Sunday, June 29th, and we are back. We got a new Marvel TV series that's out, and it's kind of scary, honestly. They dropped half the season in one night, and we decided we'd go ahead and talk about all 3 episodes one night. Honestly, I don't feel like it's going to be that bad. I really don't.
Yeah,
but maybe that's just me. Ironheart is what I'm talking about, y'all. Ironheart has come out. I figured we'd do this each episode and kind of get our whelmings of each episode. If y'all are cool with that.
Yeah, that works.
Episode 1, entitled Take Me Home.
Tonight.
We get a first appearance of... Really?
What?
Risque? Get a first appearance of Parker Robbins, a.k.a. The Hood. His first appearance is The Hood #1, 2002. And in this episode, Riri gets expelled from MIT. I guess he gets rid of her scholarship. She goes back home to Chicago. She gets a job offer, a sketchy job offer. She has to pass basically initiation and does that with flying colors and creates a new AI for her suit. Whelmings. Jeremy, what is your whelming on this episode?
I will say I was whelmed on this episode. It was a very slow moving beginner, whatever. Origin. There, I couldn't think of the name of the thing. Yeah, it was very, very slow, and I was ready to get on through it. So just whelmed.
Richard?
I think I'm whelmed as well. I think I echo that. I didn't really like this. It was I definitely agree. Like, man, I'm kind of glad they released all 3 episodes, because if this was just the first episode and then we had to wait a week for the next one, I was like, I think I would have said I was underwhelmed. Because it was very like boring. And then there's one thing in this episode in particular that I was like kind of having beef with, and we'll get into that, because I was like, do you guys even watch y'all's own continuity?
I'm interested now. I don't know that I caught whatever it is you're alluding to. I'm going to have to go with meh. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It's setting up the season, and I get that. And I'm glad that they went ahead and dropped more than one episode, because I echo what Richard was saying. Like, just leaving us here at the end where we get the introduction of Riri's new AI. Like, yes, it's a nice stopping point, but at the same time, like, if you really want to get people hype about this, you need more than just the first episode, because it is slow. It's very, very slow.
Yeah.
I do think the CGI looked pretty good as far as like the suit and stuff like that. So I'm glad they invested some money in that, especially with this being like a very much tech and magic based show as well. So I'm glad the CGI in this episode looked decent for the most part, or good for the most part, especially with that first suit. I still don't like how bulky the suit is. However, I get it. So I let that kind of, I give that a pass.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say maybe like near the end, but this is by far the best looking VFX for a Disney Plus show. And I don't know if it's just because they've perfected the like Iron Man technology. In other words, the like CGI to make the suit look as real as possible.
Yeah.
Since that was like the first thing they did way back in like 2008. Whether you like the suit or hate the suit, at least it looks like it's physically there, and it's not just like some goofy like Roger Rabbit looking bad CGI.
Yeah.
For this episode.
Okay. All right.
I will say for this episode.
Okay.
Because I do have beef with one scene in a later episode.
Okay. I'm curious to know which one that was.
And it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible or anything like that. I just looked at it and I was like, y'all slipped up a little bit. But I don't really have a whole lot to necessarily say about this episode. I feel like they're getting the character of Riri for the most part right. from what I've read of Riri, and I like the character of Riri, and I think because I've heard a lot of back and forth between people on IG and whatnot like that about this TV show, and I feel like more people dislike it than like it. And honestly, I feel like you have to be a Riri fan, have to have read it, and I don't like the Riri does not have a good fan base, like at all. Like there's not really a fan base for Riri. I will say that from my understanding, anyways.
Yeah, that's what I kind of wondered that as myself. This one didn't quite have the connection with her as what I was hoping. I don't know. And obviously, yes, this first one, like I said before, didn't really do a very good job of setting that up, I don't think. And it kind of still, but like, I don't know. I'm still having a little bit of difficulty, like I said, having the full connection and understanding of her.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the reason why I don't like Riri is like I'm fine with like we've talked a little bit about this off podcast. I like legacy characters, but I also enjoy like the passing of the mantle if done right. And Riri is just too clunky for me. I feel like Bendis was like, I did Miles, so I can do Miles again, but with with Iron Man. And I'm like, you already like you can't like repeat the greatest hit. Like it was lightning in a bottle. You can't do that again. I've harped about this. If Riri was somehow like Rhodey's niece or something, if there's some sort of familial connection, the thing I don't like about Riri, and I know she's not technically like the Iron Man quote unquote replacement because like Iron Man comes back in the fucking comics, but what I'm saying is like at that time it was kind of that way, especially her like Mark III suit, I think was like the yellow and red that Iron Man had. But like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like earned as far as like, say, Sam Wilson Cap when he became Captain America. That felt earned. Like he's been Cap's sidekick all these years. Riri was just some rando that Bendis made that found Iron Man armor and then like made it her own. I appreciate it in the show that they kind of aren't connecting it to quote unquote. Well, they are with one character, but with Tony in some sense. But at the same time, I think now I know they couldn't do it because it would get really fucking expensive. I think it would have been cooler to have Tony be the AI for this show. Because one of my biggest complaints is Natalie is kind of obnoxious. She's kind of annoying. And it's mostly like Riri will tell her, hey, don't do that. And she does it anyway. And I'm like, it just gets annoying after a while.
Let's talk about this whole new AI thing because in the comic books, yes, the AI that Riri has for her suits is Tony Stark. It is Tony Stark's brain that is in AI form. He uploaded his brain, his consciousness as AI.
Can I interrupt just 1 second though?
Yes.
Like Natalie comes along correct in the comics, right?
Natalie is
an AI.
I think Natalie is an AI at some point in time. I don't know though if it's her Natalie. I can't remember if it's an AI that's just named that, or I don't know that I've gotten that far in the comic books to know for sure.
Okay, we'll circle back around that because that's one of my beefs with the show. Did Natalie die in the comics? Is this like, because I feel like they're that she did. Okay. Because this whole like her dealing with the grief of losing her stepdad and Natalie, I felt like I was like, is this something from the comics? And I apologize. Typically, if I don't know something, I'll look it up, but I didn't have time this week. But it felt like to me, I was like, or are they just writing this in to add some like drama for the show?
No, and I could see the disconnect for that because like in Wakanda Forever, where we got her first MCU debut,
right? Like
there is none of that.
Yeah, that was just to let you in a little bit on my life for our listeners. I've been taking care of my mom. She just had some surgery. And anyway, while I've been taking care of her, they had Wakanda Forever come on like TNT and Black Panther and stuff like that. So I decided to watch it to refresh my memory on everything. And I was like, they don't mention like she mentions her stepdad in the car, but like they don't mention anything of Natalie or anything. So I was like, is
Right.
Natalie real? Like
Yeah.
in the comics, I mean. Anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to derail all that, but I just was curious since we were talking about it.
No, you're good because I figure we do need to talk about that. Like, as far as this story that I see so far, and from what I've read, which is not necessarily a lot of Riri, but from what I've read, the things that are legit are Riri's mom, Riri's stepdad, and the best friend. Now I can't remember if her name was Natalie. I can't remember all that
Mhm.
because it's been a bit since I've read it. But because Riri came out in 2016. So this is like almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
This has come out. At least her first appearance. But yes, they both died in a shooting.
Mhm.
It wasn't, if I remember right, it was in a park. It wasn't in a garage. Those two people, like her stepdad, did mean something to her. I know sometimes the bonus parent doesn't necessarily mean anything, but in this situation, it did mean something for Riri and especially her friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, those things are part of comic book canon.
Okay.
But like I said, I do see where the disconnect is because we didn't get any of that in Wakanda Forever, like at all.
Especially because they keep plastering Ryan Coogler's name. Like, he didn't write this and he didn't direct this. He's just an executive producer.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
No,
thought he
yeah.
directed it.
No. The director for all three of these episodes, I think, are Sam Bailey.
Oh,
Yeah, Sam Bailey for episode 1, episode 2. Yep, Sam Bailey. And then the writers change from episode 1, 2, and 3 have different writers.
got you. Okay.
But yeah, they've been slapping his name on it, and I'm like, but he didn't mention that. And that's not even the continuity part for me that I'm even talking about. That's just another thing that I was just kind of like, what? I'm confused.
Oh, now I want to know what's the continuity deal.
Okay, it's when she gets kicked out of MIT, and or actually, it's not even when she gets kicked out. It's when we go back to she's doing other people's homework and getting paid to do that, so she can have the money for the tuition to go to MIT. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and again, this is because I just watched Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. The whole point at the end of Black Panther was T'Challa was like, hey, we're going to use our wealth and our technology to help, people of color in underprivileged like cities and countries and stuff like that to help them out.
Yeah.
And then Riri helps Shuri with the whole Wakanda Forever stuff.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to MIT. You mean to tell me Shuri didn't be like, hey, you're never going to have to pay another dime again?
Oh,
Like,
well, she had a Stark scholarship from what it sounded like.
did she?
That's what the first episode they were talking about, a Tony Stark scholarship or
Okay.
Tony Stark grant.
Okay.
And so, like, I thought she had her schooling paid for.
Okay. See, I don't recall that. I don't know. It just bugged me because I was like, why? I felt like they just set that up so she could get kicked out of MIT so then she can meet up with this rough and tough gang.
Yeah.
I felt like there would have been a better way to, like, she meets this gang some other way. Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I derailed all of this. Back to your Natalie thing.
Oh, that's it. I don't have any other Natalie.
Oh, okay.
She came off very aggravating to me as well. The very beginning, especially the first line of like, "Well, who would it be, bitch?" Like that. I was just like, "Oh, fuck me, no, don't do this, don't, please." Like, I get it, teenage girls. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but still, at the same time, I was just like, this show's obviously not going to be fun.
Yeah.
And so, I feel like they've kind of not redeemed themselves, but made it better as the series has gone on, at least for me anyways, because it's been more of a like heist TV show.
Yeah.
So, and I appreciate that, but at the same time, like I'm with you, Natalie can be a little extra.
That's the thing I was going to say. The thing that I like the most with all these episodes are the different heists.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that was the coolest part for me.
Which don't start until episode 2.
Yeah. The other thing that I had an issue with was when she does get kicked out of MIT and she takes the suit. I'm like, where is damage control? Like, we saw them clearly trying to like fucking kill Kamran and I forget the other kid's name, but like for just, I don't know, doing something with powers. Like, they made such a big to do with Iron Man 1 and 2 about, this suit, and And now
Yeah.
a girl from MIT has made it and just took off with it. And I'm like, no, like the army, like they're not sending someone after her. Like it bugged me. I just, again, it was like, are y'all even aware of y'all's continuity?
We discussed that last podcast about damage control. They're just not there anymore.
Yeah.
They're done. They're cooked.
It just bugs me, especially because they turned damage control into just this gun-toting, like another branch of the government. And I'm just like, that's not who they are. But anyway, the other thing, I made a joke when the Trevor AI comes up. I was like, oh God, it's Clippy.
Now, how many of our audience remember Clippy?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
That's very true. That's dating me right now.
I will say, I found it aggravating. I'm like, you've spent all this time making all this armor and you tied it to your school AI and you take off with it knowing you're not going to have access fairly soon. IT is... They're not going to play around with you on this. They're going to get you out of the system ASAP. What are you doing?
Well, the other thing that bugged me about that, I was like, well, I'm glad she didn't die. Like, by them deactivating that, she could have just, like, fell to her death. And I was just like, wow, can you imagine, like, all over the news, like, MIT killed, like, a student that stole a student? The last thing I had was just that comment at the very beginning, talking about wanting to be bigger than Gates, Stark, and Jobs and Penn combined. And I'm like, don't we all? Don't we all?
Right.
Don't we all want to be, mega billionaires?
Right. I do want to throw in there an ad real quick as well, that the way that she created the AI Natalie using brainwaves and like memory and whatnot like that, that is going to open up the door for this Vision Quest series if they stick to it. Like this is how we're going to get our Friday. That's going to be a real person, just like Natalie. Karen, James Spader is absolutely not going to be. He's more than likely not going to be CGI'd. He's going to be James Spader standing there more than likely as Ultron.
That'll be weird.
I could see that, because all this is going to be part of Vision's like mind and memory and stuff like that, and all the ties that he has. So Vision may be the reason why we get Ultron back, is because he'll create that AI probably unknowingly or by mistake.
Yeah, especially with the creation of Natalie, I was like, I feel like this is going to be something to do with Vision Quest as well. I had that same thought. I didn't write that down, but the other thing too, she mentioned almost like wanting to recreate the Iron Legion, which, in Age of Ultron is what led to Ultron.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, okay, then maybe this is slightly setting up Vision Quest.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Jeremy, you have anything else?
No, that's all I got for that one.
Episode 2, will the real Natalie please stand up? Pretty much we get Riri's first heist with the crew here. And poor Rampage. He just got booted off. Like one episode and he was done.
And that was Eric Andre, which he's a comedian. He and Hannibal Burr is the gym teacher from the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. They used to do a show called the Eric Andre Show. Anyway, he's fucking hilarious. But I was just like, holy shit, I didn't realize Eric Andre was in the show.
And he's not anymore.
I didn't either. But not long, right?
Yeah.
This really gripped me at one point in time, this episode, where Riri is trying to hide Natalie, because it's her best friend that's touched a lot of people in her life, outside of just her. And so she's trying to hide Natalie. Natalie finds a way to escape not only the suit, but Riri's computer and make her way into other devices on the Wi-Fi network, and goes through a projector that her mother is using and winds up talking to her mother through a projector. And then when Riri comes home after the heist and her mom is talking to her about it, and she's like, can you make one? And I can't remember her husband's name, but the stepdad's
Gary.
name. Yeah, Gary, thank you. Can you make one of Gary? I was like, oh, fuck. Like that's... I don't know. That was heartbreaking to me. Absolutely hard. And especially in a time where we're at now, where AI is so like prominent You could be on the verge of doing some shit like that in like real life.
Yeah, well, it's funny that you say that because I wrote down, I was like, I don't know if you've watched the show, but you probably heard of it. Black Mirror, the show that's on Netflix, dealt with that in like season 1 about like, because it's the guy that plays General Hux in the new Star Wars. He dies, and it's got Haley Atwell, Carter. She and him are like lovers, and he dies, but he like in this story, in this like made up story, because it's an anthology. Anyway, he has his like consciousness upload to this company. So when he dies, they can like create an AI version. And that one's showing the like, because Black Mirror is all like dark, gloomy, and horrible future kind of stuff, and the dangers of technology in our life. And how I just wrote, I was like, it's funny how like Black Mirror shows how like this is creepy and weird and dangerous, whereas Disney's like, look how fun and wacky this is.
That's funny. Yeah, when she said that, I was just like, damn, because that's a legit, like that's going to be a legit thing. I think.
Oh yeah, more than likely. Yeah.
Where, man, I'm just like, oh, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Slope.
It's kind of creepy in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that. And then I could just see it being like, it's going to it's going to make it to where people can't cope and grieve. And like, that's a natural thing to cope and grieve, I believe. And I don't know.
I think maybe that will be like kind of the theme for this with her. I'm going to assume that like Natalie will go away by the end of this.
Ooh.
And like, it's her like dying again, but now it's Riri finally like accepting that and dealing with that. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be.
Interesting. I don't know that I would see that coming. To the heist. What's the big deal about this is there's a tech company who's created like an underground highway system, quite like what they've got going on out in Arizona with the Tesla track and stuff like that.
The Boring Company, I think is what it's called. Because they bore holes.
Is it really?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah.
But this is called Tunnel, and basically they want to not blackmail. They want help me out here.
Extort?
Yes, thank you. Extort. Basically, so that there's a flaw in their system, and hey, look, we'll cover this up, but you got to put us on payroll, kind of thing, and put all the members of the Hood's team on the payroll. So cool plan. I don't feel like we got. I don't know. I feel like they kind of had the heist is more of like a side story, and I feel like that's a bad move. I feel like the heist should have been most of this episode instead of Riri trying to hide Natalie getting out and talking to people, Riri moving on to go meet this Joe guy from the black market who we'll talk more about later on. Jeremy leaving the podcast and
that is very like swinging with the punches right there. Hey, he's back. There he is.
Sorry.
Welcome back, Jeremy.
Sorry.
You didn't miss anything. At least I don't think you did. But meeting Joe and going to deal with some black market tech with him, and then coming back to do the heist, I felt like the heist was then rushed and kind of made a side story, and I didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the heist should have just been episode 2. Like, just make it about episode 2, and then I don't know. Again, because I'm a little like biased towards, or not biased, but I'm a little against Natalie. Like, I don't need any of that. Like her trying to escape. I was kind of interested in the Joe thing, but I got to be honest with you, it's so fucking weird. Especially because I remember hearing a rumor that character was going to be. I know it's not revealed to the 3rd episode, but I heard that he was going to be in that, but I was not expecting it to be that guy. And that guy, was it Alden Ehrenreich?
That guy.
Yes. His relationship with Riri is fucking weird.
Yeah.
I also don't. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I agree that the heist, because the heists are interesting. I like heist movies. I mean, that's why Ant-Man 1 was good. I don't like any of the other stuff that they did with the second episode.
Yeah, and I thought the heist was cool. I thought the way that they did it was fun, and had some suspense of like, will we really get crushed or not? Tune in next time, But they went ahead and finished it out this time. And I got ahead of myself, and I never asked y'all y'all's whelming of this episode. So, Jeremy, what's your whelming of this episode?
Yeah, I was going to at some point kind of just throw it in there, but I I will say I'm still just whelmed at this one. I agree as what y'all were saying as far as like I enjoyed the heist part of it, and I wish that they had again as well. I wish that they had made that a little bit more prominent, a little bit more detailed kind of thing. So yeah, I'm glad that they're finally getting into that part of it. But yeah, still just whelmed on it.
All right, Richard.
I wrote I was whelmed, too pleasantly whelmed, and it was just because I liked the heist. I thought the heist was interesting. I like the gimmick of her losing the MacGuffin thing to like hack, and then she's got to like think on her feet and do something different. So that made it interesting. And then of course the like ticking clock element of her like getting crushed. And anyway, I thought that was very interesting and well done.
She lost a USB for the listeners out there, and Natalie is the one that actually saved the day on that.
That's true.
Yeah. And told her like, hey, this is what we need to do. So, and I'm kind of glad they actually used a real life mechanism to make the tunnel stop just altogether. You had to dislodge a car. Once you dislodge a car, the entire tunnel stops. And from what I understand, they used Reeve's glove to get up in the compartment area and pull the lever for the automatic transmission to get it out of park or neutral, whatever it would be in, to go into drive to launch itself off of it being stationary. So I like that. I was like, hey, I'm a car guy. I can follow this. Okay, we're doing something decent here. That's fine. I can appreciate that.
That's funny.
Kind of brought in the whole the mechanic theme there from like Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
Iron Man 3.
Well, and one where he's working on the car and stuff like that, doing the compression tests on the pistons. And
sorry, I thought he meant from Iron Man 3 because he calls himself the mechanic or whatever.
Yeah,
the little kid.
Yeah, we get to see the hood more in this episode. We know that there's some real weird shit going on as well. Like he's got this almost disease look going down his back, and he's getting cousin Joe or no cousin John. Cousin John.
Joe.
John.
I thought it was Joe.
Thank you.
No, Joe's the weird guy.
Oh, he is like solid on this.
That's right.
Oh, you're right, Joe. Yeah. So he gets cousin, and when I say cousin John, he's cousin to the hood, and he's doing these tattoos to cover up. By God, they're going through a lot of ink. I mean, this dude's sitting through a lot. Like by episode 3, he's got a lot more ink than he had in episode 2, and it's like, whoa, man, how do you get time to do all this? Let's be real.
Wasn't and that may be a question that to wait for episode 3, but didn't it grow on its own in episode 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
It grew. I think it grew in 2 as well while he was doing the tattoo because John like stopped and he's like, I ain't doing this no more kind of thing.
Yeah. Let him know he needed to have a break and stuff like that because it was painful.
So was the tattoo to try and cover up the veins, I guess, or whatever? And they're putting a tattoo to make it not look like it's some kind of disease or something?
I think we're led to believe that the tattoos are supposed to be like hiding them. But part of me is like, are they some kind of weird incantation kind of thing since this is all magic?
Mm-hmm.
Or you think an incantation maybe to fight the spread, to fight the possession?
I don't think John is smart enough to know about incantation, but I could see the hood. I could see him being like, hey, I need these symbols tattooed on me. Yeah. I could be wrong about all that, but
no, that's not a bad theory. I like that.
Well, there is something very interesting, I thought. There is an absolute Easter egg, and it kind of plays into what's maybe happening with the show. I believe it's when Riri is speaking with Natalie, like on the street, and behind her is a bunch of posters, and it says Faust. And for those that don't know, Faust is a story about a very brilliant man who is not happy with life because he knows all this knowledge. So he makes a deal with a devil.
Oh.
And that devil's name is Mephistopheles. And a lot of bad shit happens with all the, like, I'm not going to go into the whole story, but basically he tells Faust that, like, hey, if you finally have found happiness, then I get your soul. And then by like the end of the story, Faust finds happiness. But because he did something right, the devil can't get his soul, and the angel or whatever, he doesn't end up, like, Mephisto doesn't get his soul, or Mephistopheles. But anyway, I was just like, whoa.
Oh, no, I was saying, like, is this actually they're going to change it to where they're bringing in Mephisto?
Yeah, no, I there's rumors that Mephisto was going to show up for this series, and now that we saw that Faust poster, I was like, oh shit, it may actually happen here.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, and I remember the song details, when John's walking in to go and give the tattoo to Parker, there's a song playing, and it's a song about making a deal with the devil.
I didn't pick up on that one.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, and it's like as soon as they're talking about, like, those lyrics come in of like talking to the devil and stuff like that, it stops like as he's going in to like give the tattoo.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I think I think there's a really, really good chance we're getting Mephisto, and I'm not bullshitting. I'm not like just trying to like fuck around with people.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
And I think it'll be Borat. I think it'll be the actor that plays Borat that does it.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yes, that guy. Yeah.
He's done some serious roles, so if done seriously, I think he'll be fine. I don't think he's going to show up as fucking Borat.
No.
My wife, it's me, Mephisto.
It sounds like Mario. It's me, Mephisto.
We're going to get sued by Nintendo.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna tell you this much: if my imitation of Mario is that good, like, please,
I mean, Chris
just
Pratt
hire me.
There was a line where Natalie's talking to Riri about, like, oh, this is Spy Kids or whatever, and I was like, no, that's Quantum Mania. I mean, one of the things I wrote down, I'll talk a little bit about it. I think I'm just getting old. I think I'm just getting too old. Like, what I think it is I'm just not cool anymore or whatever. Because, like, when they mentioned the Spy Kids, I was like, that's a terrible movie to reference. Why would you reference that? But also, the crew that they have, I was like, they look like if you put into Chat GPT, please generate me an image of a heist crew that is specifically Gen Z, because they look like Gen Z distilled to its purest form. And I was just like, what a bunch of goofy looking people. But yeah, anyway, I just thought that was weird.
The heist group is very distracting, and not in a good way, like, at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's difficult for me.
The last thing I have, though, there was a funny line, and it has nothing to do with anything. It was just when she goes to the kid that has the little wagon, and she's like, hey, can I borrow this? And he's like, borrow in this economy? Like, I don't know. That had me rolling. I thought that was a funny ass line.
That kid, he's like the best haggler of the show.
He really
Right?
is. Yeah.
Right?
The kid's going places.
Yes.
That's so funny. She trudged that suit around town for a bit with that wagon. Dadgummit.
Yeah, she did.
Before we move on to episode 3, so just want to make sure y'all don't have anything else. And also, I want to make sure we state that, like, Joe is a very timid and very insecure young man or middle-aged man. I don't know. something like
middle-aged man, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a specific line calling him middle-aged.
So, like, I just want to make sure that, like, his character is represented before we move into it, because there is going to be a revelation of that in the episode 3.
You're right, yeah.
But do either one of y'all have anything else for episode 2?
No, that's pretty much it for me, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Episode 3. We in danger, girl. Second heist. Going after greenhouses with mushrooms. That's the only thing I really got. I don't even know why. I don't even know why we're going after this greenhouse guy who's got the freaking Resident Evil hideout in the middle of the ocean over there.
I hadn't even thought about it. It does look like a Resident Evil.
Yeah.
It was a very weird, like, ridiculous, like, greenhouse.
Yeah.
In the middle of the fucking bay.
Yeah.
Just how do you even get that property? What are we doing here?
I'm assuming it's because he's like a billionaire, because it seems like they're going after all the like uber rich people.
Yeah. I was like, what? I don't know. I thought it was Umbrella. That's what it looked like to me. I was like, they're making zombies out there. That's what's happening.
I had this thought, and again, because we're dealing with possibly Mephisto demonic thing, I was like, and since we had the Faust poster, I was like, are all these people that the Hood are visiting, did these people make deals with the devil to get like uber rich and wealthy?
Ooh.
And like the Hood is going, like, kind of like Ghost Rider, he's like coming to collect or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like once Riri was like listening on that conversation, like, no, he's actually just shaking them down for money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, especially since he was successful with the tunnel and like just got the money there. At least, you know, I don't remember anybody dying on that one. Not even the police cop that was trying to gun Riri down, which we didn't even talk about that.
We can now.
Yeah. I thought it was, I don't know how I feel about the whole wanted bullet situation where it just kind of weaves through there, wherever wherever the Hood wants it to go, that's where it goes. But I'm glad he didn't kill the cop. So that's kind of good.
Yeah.
Did he?
No, he didn't.
The cop live?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
He had said that he'll be fine with where he shot him, because he shot him like in the shoulder,
Okay.
I think.
I was just wondering, because there was this whole like Riri was like, "Hey, what we're gonna do?" Like in the first episode, when maybe it was the second episode. I don't know, because I watched
First
all
episode.
these.
I don't want to hurt people.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to like kill anybody, and they're like, okay, we won't. But then it shows like a montage of them like doing stuff without Riri, and fucking cousin John, like knife guy. I'm just calling him knife guy.
Yeah.
Like he's like knifing
At
people
tunnel.
in the back. I'm like, that's murder. That's murder.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's hurting people.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a good bit of magic that's going on. He could, the Hood can be invisible with this hood on, so he's got a cloak of invisibility for Jeremy. And
Woo.
There's such a delay with you tonight.
but yeah, the deal does not work out for the Hood and crew. The whole greenhouses go into lockdown. They start removing the oxygen, pumping in CO2, which I'm like, yo, that's actually pretty smart, I feel like. Because they were setting their greenhouses on fire. And fire needs oxygen to be able to burn. CO2 has oxygen in it, though?
Yeah, but it's not enough for it to...
Is it not enough to burn?
Yeah, probably not enough to burn. Plus, plants need CO2
right
as well.
Yeah.
And then they emit oxygen. No, I thought it was cool, too, but I was like, this is also considered murder. Like this, like this company would then be like, yeah, I know they broke in, but like you murdered those people.
It's part of protocol. We just thought it was a fire, so I don't know. I mean, they're gonna have to deal with it because old cousin John did not make it out of one of those greenhouses. He suffocated to death. Now, is that Riri's fault? Because she was fighting cousin John and just left him there.
Yeah.
But she was also like getting ready to die herself. The suit came in, saved her, and then left. Door closes on the way out.
Yeah.
So is it just the assumption that Riri was like, oh, the door opened, so I'm sure John got out.
Yeah, well, he was definitely very underwhelmed with the performance there. So
is that your whelming for it, Jeremy?
I apologize. I got ahead of myself again.
We just all over the place tonight.
Yeah. I'll just jump into I was pleasantly whelmed with this one, and
okay,
it was definitely a little bit more action with it. the heist seemed to take a little bit more. I don't like Joe's or Zeke's kind of character development there a little bit. Seeing him change some,
Mm.
and I was okay with John not making it out. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
No, I
We'll
don't.
see.
I don't think a tear was shed for
yeah.
him.
Richard, what's your whelming?
I too, like, me and Jeremy are on the same track. I was pleasantly whelmed with this episode as well. I again, I enjoyed the heist stuff. I'm kind of like, hey, Marvel, can we just do like a bunch of heist movies for a little while? 'Cause I like that there's not high stake. I think that's what it is. It's like all these Marvel movies and stuff. It's like, oh, it's gonna be the fucking end of the world kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This feels very small scale and like, I don't know. It was just more entertaining to me as far as that goes.
Mm.
So yeah, I'll say I'm pleasantly whelmed.
One, it doesn't necessarily have to connect to anything either. Like it's just a Riri story so far.
Mm-hmm.
It can be one of those things I feel like you could miss, and then if you see her in another movie, like if you want to go back, you could rewatch this then. Which I feel like it's kind of what Marvel needs to do, honestly, per our last podcast that we talked about it. I was whelmed to pleasantly whelmed. I like the heist stuff. I feel like this is the most interesting episode for me so far. I'm glad they went ahead and dropped 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's half the season, but I feel like this is a good, especially with the ending of this episode. I feel like this is a good, like, hey, this is what this show is really about. You've got the heist, you've got this magical stuff on the side. It's really sketchy that's going on. And you got, the life of Riri Williams and, her conflict of wanting to make this dream of hers happen, but at the same time, like, how does she go about doing that? And dealing with the morals of that as well. Yeah, I like this. I like the 3. I like the way that they did. I like them knowing, hey, we need to drop all 3 for this to really hit. And if they choose to watch, that's their prerogative, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's because back to John dying suffocating in the greenhouse. I guess it's because Riri, she was disoriented and just assumed the door stayed open, which, so she can't be faulted for killing that guy.
Yeah, I think it was like it's almost like the Batman Begins is like, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I took it more as Natalie is really the reason why Natalie was like, I have to save Riri.
Yeah.
Fuck trying to save this guy that's trying to murder her.
Yeah.
Because it was more of like Natalie just like swooped in, grabbed Riri, and then flew out.
Right.
And I don't think Riri had control of the suit at that point.
No. Like I said, I think she was out of it.
Yeah.
For the most part. She was just trying to catch her breath, literally. I like this. Riri's interested in the Hood storyline that's going on as well. Her sneaking in a piece of tech that she got from Joe, aka Ezekiel, and cutting a piece of the Hood off so that she can like analyze it.
Mm-hmm.
I like where that's going. I think that's going to be fun to see, and probably a big like turning point where she's going to need to know what's going on to be able to face Parker.
Yeah.
You liking the way Ezekiel's going, Jeremy, kind of throws me off because honestly, I hate Ezekiel. For everybody in the audience who doesn't know, Joe is Ezekiel Stan, the son of Obadiah Stane from Iron Man #1.
Ironmonger.
Yes, Ironmonger. Yes.
The dude. He is Jeff Bridges. The dude abides.
I imagined his son being a bad guy. My dad didn't take no shit off nobody. I'm not going to take any shit off of nobody. Like fuck you, fuck your I wanted this to be like another Justin Hammer, but not funny. Like,
yeah,
y'all thought his dad was bad. No, this guy is a bad guy. That's what I wanted.
Okay. So I'm glad we're getting into that because I hate what they're doing with Ezekiel Stain, only because I'm like, I don't know if it's the acting or if it's intended, but he is so fucking awkward.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
He's so awkward. And like, I don't know, at least with this 3rd episode, I'm like, are they hinting? Because I thought Riri and her like best friend growing up were going to be like maybe like a love interest. And now I'm like, are
Mm.
they making Zeke and her like a weird love interest type thing?
Oh.
I don't
And I'm like,
see
I don't
that.
like that, but okay, good. But I also think when she had him, also, let's talk about like, brother just had his fucking arm sliced open.
Yeah.
Right?
And installing shit. So part of me,
Fucking Terminator style, y'all.
Yeah.
Think of the fucking Terminator, because that's what it looked like. The graphics and everything, the prosthetics and everything looked like 1980s fucking Terminator here, y'all.
except for he's a real ass person, not a robot with like flesh over him. So I was just like, how are you not bleeding out to death?
Right.
But the fact that he had Riri help him do that, I'm wondering, because I wrote my note of, I still don't trust this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is all this an act? And maybe
Mm.
he's not Obadiah Stane. He's not Tony. Like, he's not smart enough. So he needs Riri to do, like, I have a feeling whatever that fucking thing in his arm is, maybe he needs her to do something so he can eventually do something later, and they pull the rug out and he's like one of the villains for the show.
Now I could see that. To me, it made it very obvious that he was not smart. Like he is smart to an extent, but it is very like she's the genius. She's the one to figure these things out. He's kind of the idea creator and things like that. So, but also has obviously some intellect in there because he knows these things, knows these parts, all that kind of stuff. So he's got something to go off of there, but he's not as smart as she is. I can see him wanting to be the complete opposite of his dad. I could see that happening because I mean, obviously, like whenever those kind
Yeah.
of things happening, a lot of times it's one way or the other. Like they either want to do completely
Right, yeah.
opposite of what their parental figure did, or they're going to follow in their footsteps. So this one, he's going complete opposite, and I think his acting, the way he is, yes, for one, he is awkward, but I also think that that's on purpose. Not that he's trying to cover up anything. It's just that he's just, again, he's gone so far the opposite way of what his dad was, that he's non-confrontational. He wants to stay hidden on things. And then this whole transition of him, quote unquote, standing up for himself, like what he had said in there, it's that awkward change of like trying to figure out how I'm going to stand up for myself and what I'm going to do. And so it's, to me, I feel like if that's the kind of character that they're playing, he's doing a pretty decent job of it, because that's just, there obviously are those type of people out there that are awkward like that, like with the
Yeah.
going back with the whole like where the dog was pooping on his lawn and everything, kind of just finally snapping on that on the next episode and things like that. So yeah, it's
Well, let's take snapping easily now, okay?
yeah.
Like, he literally
Well, no.
snapped some flower heads off of one of her bushes, but
Well, I'll say this: black-eyed Susans are poisonous for dogs. So,
Oh, really.
yeah, the green like the stem
Yeah.
parts are not
Yeah.
the flower themselves, but yeah. Because I was like, I thought I remember seeing something about like black-eyed Susan, because one of our dogs would try to eat them, and my wife would be like, "Don't eat those; those are poisonous."
I was honestly hoping he was marching himself back over there to take a shit in her yard. Like, that's kind
Yeah,
of where my mind was.
well,
I was like, please show him squatting down shitting in her yard.
That happens in Me, Myself, and Irene, where like a dog keeps shitting in Jim Carrey's yard, and then eventually he snaps and he goes and grabs the newspaper and just squats down in the neighbor's yard. And I was thinking of that scene. I was like, that's probably what I would do.
That's what I was hoping, and no, he just cut the flowers off for one of her bushes, and I was like, oh, look at you go, boy. I feel like that scene was done there specifically to sit there and say, like, yes, this guy's very non-confrontational. He's very timid. He's trying to learn how to be the bad boy or whatever the case is. So I feel like that's why that was added there, to kind of add that. Now, could they still pull the rug out from under us? Yes, I could see that. I don't think they are, though. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, they probably aren't.
And man, like I wish I don't know. I agree with what Jeremy is saying. Is like kids with parents like that could go one of either way. I wish they'd gone the other way with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care, like, as far as him, like, wanting to be different from his father. It's just, I don't know. It's just the way they, like, when we first meet him, he starts crying because he's already been blackmailed one. Like, I don't know. It just felt like, yeah, like, y'all are laughing, but I legitimately was like, I feel like they're trying way too hard to make him the comic relief. And
Yeah.
it just came off really awkward for me. Yeah, and I agree. They probably won't make him a villain because I highly doubt with 6 episodes we're gonna have a fucking Obadiah or Ezekiel Stain arc along with the Hood arc. It's more than likely he'll be like a fucking partner with her or something, like building the next generation of Iron Man suits or tech to help the world, because that's the whole thing that they keep asking is like, why'd you build the suit? And she's like, because I could, kind of thing. Yeah. So far he's a weird character for me.
He's definitely cooking up something. What? I don't know. And could they, eventually be partners? Just like associate partners, not like love interest partners. I don't think
Right.
they're going that route either with I didn't get those vibes with old Ezekiel as well. But like business associates kind of deals, I could kind of see that. I could see him being a reason or being in if they decided to do an Armor Wars. I could see him being part of that. And that could be interesting because, he may actually be the good guy, like, trying to make good of his father's name. You know what I mean? That could be kind of cool to see, and maybe bring Justin Hammer back for that. Please just bring Justin Hammer back.
We just want to see Sam Rockwell dance some more.
Yes. Yeah, who doesn't want to see that? That's prime time TV, folks. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything else. First appearance, Ezekiel Stan, The Order number 1 The Order number 8 from 2008. There you go. There's a first appearance for you.
Wow. I just had one funny note, and we kind of mentioned it. I love the line of like, daughter, why is there a sweaty middle-aged white man at my door? And he was like, do I look middle-aged?
That is funny.
Do we have any idea who he is whenever Hood is talking, asking him? Like, whenever Parker's like,
Mephisto.
I mean, I guess, is that what we're leaning towards?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
The devil.
Okay.
That's going to be it. I'm calling it.
You heard it right here, folks.
In the next 3 episodes, I bet we get Mephisto.
It's me, Mephisto.
I swear, if he pops out like that and has a little, he like kind of comes out of the hole, making a little sound of coming out of the pipe. It's the music as they praying over to him.
As the episodes end. Oh yeah, I think as far as like what we got coming up, I think Mephisto is definitely coming in. I think that's what they're building up to. I think that's what the whole scene with Parker grieving over his cousin's death and questioning the Hood, or what is actually like possessing the Hood or part of the Hood. And then the images, like the imagery of like John and choking and stuff like that. I think that was Mephisto fucking with Parker, but at the same time, you get a shadow of like the armor over top, and so it's kind of like saying, "Hey, Riri is the problem. Riri is the reason your cousin's dead," and so there's gonna be that's gonna have to be dealt with as well. So yeah, I'm hopeful that the next 3 episodes are gonna be good, and it's just gonna kind of keep building up from where we're at now. So I hope they keep the momentum and the pace going into these next 3 episodes and really knock it out of the park. I think they need to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Awesome. Well, while we're waiting on Tuesday to come around, y'all be back for the next episode because we'll be doing the next 3 episodes of Ironheart. And in the meantime, Jeremy, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO, and you can find me here.
Awesome. Richard?
If you want to contact me directly, I have an X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, an Instagram, a Blue Skies, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, possibly TikTok, we'll see, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X.
Awesome. You can find me on Instagram, eBay, and Shortbox22_comics. You can also find me on YouTube at 22 Comics. Thank y'all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did making it. Well, all that being said, say goodbye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy. Bye.